Incremental ratings. Now it's time to introduce something not official, but is extremely convenient, is what I call priority zones or ranges, more mathematically. So when I want to apply priority, here with this dialog, I have 100 different places, which is not 1, 2, 3, 4, as we have seen already. It's a massive deal, right? Then I can heuristically say, hey, let's use the red, yellow, more or less the colors, right? Just still not enough. I want to have meaningful labels for that. So I will distribute the outstanding queue into zones. Then, remember this fact that the slider is not linear. So I'm going to present different strategies. There will be a dedicated video for each one of those with some meaningful real examples and use cases. Here is just the overview and the more meta experience. So remember this fact, the gray will be linear, and then what Supermemo does, that you have more precision at higher levels of priorities and lower, much lower precision in the low priority range. So usually what I suggest is to take this incrementally, no pun intended. So you will have just two zones. At the very beginning, a threshold determines above this threshold means low priority, above the threshold means high priority. Then on this dialog, it will be like this, because remember that the all-P dialog is not linear. So now if I put 25, I more or less halfway already. And if I put 50, I'm 3/4, right? And if I put 2%, is what? 2%? That's more than 10 already, right? Okay. So just to help you, I included both. I have spent my time to do this. So you have a threshold that, hey, it could be, I don't know. Can you take a guess? Which number would that be? Lock it in, and we will go later on in this video. I'm doing this on purpose. So later is, okay, now I have a backlog, now I have information overflow, so now I can have a 3-tier action model that they have high, medium, and low, or action, growth, and backlog. Action, what I'm currently doing, I'm using this already, and growth, do I need this? You're growing your collection, you're growing your knowledge. And backlog is, yeah, for someday or for reference. I'm not going to actively do any of that. It's a good approach. And you have, once again, some thresholds. And now the thresholds are, as already mentioned, 20%, 80%. So the growth is 60%, is more than the entire section of the priority queue. Then, as your collection grows, you can do other zones, or other models with more zones. You don't have to do one by one, meaning that if you have 3, and bro, it's not enough now, I need more precision, you don't have to go to the number 4. You can go straight to 5, 10, or whatever. This is just some examples. Remember, we will have dedicated videos for that. Only on the mastery track, by the way. So you have like this. I need this daily. I'm actually building this. I want to maintain this knowledge, or it might be useful someday. Some heuristic approaches, right? Then this is a recommendation, but the priority range depends on you. For instance, I have a huge proportion of folders. So 20%. So most of this, the attic, it might be useful someday, is already taken with dead elements that are dismissed. There's no content. Are dismissed, but without content, are applied done, right? So have this in mind that perhaps I will decrease that, but because in my case, 1/3 of my collection is dismissed because I deleted a lot of stuff. Okay. Then you can progress with 5, 6, 10, and so on. Another thing you can do, while you progress this, as your collection grows, your experience and skill set also grows, is that you can reuse the models. Meaning, I have this, the one I explained, right? R4, okay. This is from the community. It's different. They call it urgent, applicable, interest, and exploration zone. Okay, but it's the same thing. What you could do is, okay, now I'm getting used to that. Now it's too much, like, oh my God, almost 50% of the periodic queue is exploration zone, is too much. Now let me be more explicit, more concrete. So what you can do is divide this. So from 4 zones, you go to 10 zones because you divide each zone by 3, but the first one, that you keep it like it is. So you will go directly an equivalent of this model that you have up to 10 zones, and you can see that, hey, how it looks is kind of weird, right? And it's more or less like a reverse mirror, that the maximum to the left, the maximum, the highest, and the lowest will be more precise, and the more to the medium, it's less precise. It's a different approach. There are some use cases for that. I did this on purpose. We'll see that on the mastery track. Or you have this, that more or less is increasing, so every time it's larger and larger. First it's 10%, then it's 20, then it's 30%, and then it's 20 again, 10 again, and 10 again. So it is increasing. You want less precision, but then you want like some percentage smaller for the, oh, this is very at the bottom, right? This is always a pattern. Do you see? Critical, core is higher, high interest is even higher than core, and so on. It's always the same thing. Library, much larger than workshop, which is larger than cockpit. It's like some kind of a spaced repetition at some degree. So then, you can do this, going back, even more incremental. You don't have to switch from 4 zones to 10 directly. No, it's, hey, you know what? Most of the time, I'm using those high priority ranges. So only the applicable zone, I split into 3 zones. Now I do 3.6 up to 8.4, 8.4 to 18.5, because I had until 28, right? The range was too high. Awesome. Could be 28, 30, 33, depends on your collection. How many dismissed elements you have, how much you import, and stuff like this. But to simplify, it's this approach. Then, you will take this later because, yeah, I'm barely setting priorities on this range. So the exploration zone, it will still be its own. And as I progress, now it's time to be more accurate. And let me divide this. So at the end of the day, you will have a model of 10 different zones, even though you don't switch back from 4 to 10 in one go. You can skip. So, for instance, this is what I did. So I started with 3, then 4, and I went to 10, and from 10, I went to 30 already. It's been some years that I'm using 30 levels, 30 zones. And I don't think I will be using more of those. For me, it's more than enough. So that is the key of priority zones. It's something qualitative. So at the end of the day, what we're doing is that in this graph, hey, I'm distributing this, but it's not 25, 50, and 25. They will be of the same range. We have different ranges. So now if we see the vertical axis, hey, we will get what? Let me actually use Supermemo for that, to be more precise. So the first cut will be 6.2, 25 exactly, and the 56. And the other one will be 100. So this is what we see more or less here. So you notice that, hey, the ranges are different. And this could be super interesting, as we will see in the mastery track, because you can automate this with auto hotkey scripts. So instead of deciding precisely here, hey, I need a priority between 0 and 10, I'm too biased and so on, I will put a range and let the script decide for me arbitrarily. So it's slightly up, slightly lower, but within this range. And then you fine tune that, hey, now it's just 2%. And later on, at least in my model, the first 10 are within the first 1%. I'm very precise. So this is more or less what you need to know, and take your time. This takes time. This takes a long time to master. So there's no, it doesn't mean faster the better. Could be the case that some users, they use Supermemo a lot, they import a lot, so their collection grows super fast, and they need priorities at a faster rate, because the consequences they will face are more short term. If you just spend 10 minutes a day using Supermemo, you will need months and months to see the bad effects of not prioritizing, right? Just take your time. The analogy I have is like a scorpion or these kind of animals, that when they grow is, oh, my shell, it's too tight, it doesn't fit me anymore, so I will just get rid of it and get a new layer, and so on. So this is more or less that, hey, I'm losing, I need more precision now, I have more elements, or I need another decimal, I cannot do decimals. Time to update. Just follow your own judgment. And a reminder, in the mastery track, you will see those models that I have chosen. And using Supermemo, prioritizing this, and so on, in case it's too abstract, I want to see this in reality. Once those are done, they will be in the description. That's all for now. See you incrementally.